So we've got a mix of both official Diablo 4 news and discoveries by data miners. So yeah, data miners have been very busy digging into the Diablo 4 beta files once again, and have discovered a big feature that will greatly improve the experience on PC. But what about consoles? Plus, fans are rallying against a key feature of the Deluxe and Ultimate Editions, calling out Blizzard and Activision for unfair practices. But there's also a catch to this feature. Plus, official responses from Blizzard about classes and the Druid, the Diablo 4 post-launch team size versus World of Warcraft, and much more.
Okay.
And don't forget about the PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch giveaway. Check that out in the pinned comment, opened up for my subscribers only. Check it out.
All right,
so let's get into the headline. First of all, starting out with this one right here. It says, Diablo 4 data mine reveals support for a killer PC gaming
What
feature.
is it?
This is really
Who does
cool.
it kill?
Let's get into this now. Remember, with data mines, everything is with a grain of salt, but I do think we will eventually get this feature down the road for Diablo 4.
All right, let's see.
As explained in the article. So it goes on to say this: with the beta now over for Blizzard's upcoming action RPG Diablo 4, fans of the game have been doing some serious digging. Just about everything will be sifted and scrutinized while the beta files remain on their systems. These intrepid data miners have discovered that not only is the previously announced DLSS 3 support in the beta files already, but also direct storage. And if you're wondering what this is extremely important.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I don't even know what the fuck this is.
It goes on to describe direct storage as a new Microsoft API that is designed to reroute streams of storage data from the CPU to the GPU for the purpose of decompression. Due to the highly parallelized...
Thank God. I feel like there are so many games, like this is how WoW was. Is like if you had an insanely good graphics card but a bad processor, like it didn't even really make the game that much better.
Nature of GPUs, decompression can be processed at a much faster rate of GPUs, which frees up the CPU
this is very
to do
good.
other tasks and
fuck.
allows for significantly faster loading times. So
they fixed
this
that.
essentially
Or at
allows
least improved
us
it.
to have much faster loading times for Diablo 4. So yeah, the biggest question is, when would we be seeing this feature for Diablo 4?
Dude, I miss this game so
it says
much.
This says, while it could yet be updated, the version found in the beta files was 1.02, which lags behind the advances that 1.1 brings. Now, Direct Storage 1.1 could allow Diablo much faster loading times by calling on the graphics card to decompress files on the go. So, I think that it's just out of date in the beta files. But if they did anything with direct storage, it of course would be the latest version. Now, this is also extremely important, even when we compare what's going on with PS5 and Xbox Series X, because those platforms have some major technology behind loading and streaming. Now, since Microsoft and Sony currently employ similar technology on the Xbox Series X, S, and PS5 to better take advantage of the SSD inside the console. So it seems like PC is really wanting to adapt that technology and really utilize what basically the PS5 and Xbox Series X can do. It goes on to say,
I think that the advantage that consoles have is that consoles are designed just to run games. So they're like hyper optimized for just that one thing. So like even if you have a good PC, sometimes the console, it will still run better because it's made to run on that console.
This right here, despite The Witcher 3 getting direct storage support later in 2023, Diablo 4 would be the second game to support it on PC. That's pretty crazy. And it goes on to say, this depends on whether Blizzard plans to implement it, and it isn't just leftover files from a previous build of the game. Now, direct storage hasn't been widely adopted as of yet, with the tech still in its infancy. Once major players like Blizzard hopefully adopt the software, we should start to see loading times come right down across the board.
I feel like load times are pretty much fine.
Feature seems to be very impressive, and I imagine that more and more games on the PC side of things.
I don't really mind load times, but I did mind it whenever I played Blue Protocol because I thought there were just too many of them.
Will begin adopting this technology, especially as open world games get more detailed and more complicated. You're going to want to see this technology in your game. So it might help with post-launch type content if in fact the world of Diablo 4 continues expanding seamlessly outward and that map gets bigger and bigger, which is something that we might actually see happen in the future.
I think that's what would make sense.
All right, so we got to talk about what fans are really upset about when it comes to the Deluxe Edition and the Ultimate Editions of Diablo 4. So it goes on to say this right here. Diablo 4 fans are rallying against the concept of early access, and they're not too hopeful for a smooth launch after. We'll see.
I would expect that the launch of Diablo 4 will probably be okay. Like, I don't know though. Like, maybe not. Like, Blizzard, it's so hard to say because, like, for a lot of Warcraft launches, Blizzard's actually done a really good job. Like, BFA launch was pretty good. Legion launch was pretty good. Fucking Shadowlands launch was pretty good. Dragonflight launch was pretty good. All of these launches were good. However, look at fucking Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 launch was dog shit. Like, yes, Error 37 happened, but that happened, it was literally 10 years ago. I'm talking about their most recent updates and, like, their most recent games. I think they've done pretty well. But, I mean, look at the beta, though. I mean, people are getting DC'd constantly. They sit in a queue for a half hour. They get into the game. They do one dungeon for 5 minutes. They get knocked out, and they're back in a 30-minute queue again. It's awful.
See what happens with launch. I'm expecting that to have some major bumps in the road, of course. But let's get into the actual thread here, which was one of the most talked about threads, of course. It says this right here. Zoom it out. Game releases 4 days early. Buy standard edition to play late. This shouldn't be a thing. So yes, you get up to 4 days.
No, definitely. Like, I think shouldn't is always, like, I think shouldn't is a decision that a customer makes whenever they decide to purchase something. Like, there are instances where there should be, like, a legal oversight for something, but I don't think that video game early access is an example of that. So if a game does this, it's definitely cheesy. It sucks. It's just them trying to make more money. But, like, if enough people didn't like this, then you wouldn't see games keep doing it. The truth is that they offer early access because people buy it. Like, look at, and the thing is that it's not anything special about Diablo 4. Look at Hogwarts Legacy, for an example. Hogwarts Legacy is a single-player game. And people bought the deluxe edition to play early in the hundreds of thousands. And that was only the people that were playing it on PC. You can see that on the Steam charts. Just go look at it. You can also go and look at Lost Ark. It was the exact same thing. So you're crying about it, but buy the game in early access. Yeah, that's the thing, right? And so I just, like, if I was a game developer, I would release games with early access stuff like this too. Because it's just so massively profitable. And it doesn't really affect the game. It's not like it's going to do anything. So you just have this perception that, like, people are mad about. But, like, after the first week of the game being out, that's gone. Like, nobody's talking about this anymore with Hogwarts Legacy or, like, Lost Ark. They move on to other stuff. So why is it bad to do... Well, sorry, why are they not going to do this? And even if it is bad, it's just massively profitable. There's clearly a massive demand for it. That's why so many people buy it. And there's, like, literal examples. I mean, fuck, man. Look about, you know, for the Diablo 4 beta, the first weekend that was, like, for only pre-order and double down pre-orders, they had over 1 million people that hit level 20 or 25 or whatever in the beta. Over 1 million people played a 3-day beta in order to get, like, this little toy. That is ridiculous, man. Yeah, the release is the first season. That's why people are mad. No, because... And also, yeah, there's no competitive aspect of this at all unless you want to consider preseason competitive. The game is going to release without the seasons. And the seasons, you're going to be able... Everybody starts the seasons at the same time. As far as I know, they haven't said anything otherwise. I think they clarified specifically that that's not going to be the case. So yeah, there's no season on launch. Nobody's really getting ahead in a season or in a leaderboard because of this. So you look at it from Blizzard's perspective. Do we give impatient gamers a way to give us more money so they can play the same game 4 days early? Fuck it. Like, if they want us to take their money, we'll do it. I think that's probably the way that they see it.
Early access if you pre-purchased the deluxe or ultimate editions. If you didn't, now I'm sure you did.
Let
me know what edition you did buy.
No. But because it forces the people to spend more than they would, but you're not from a third world country, so you wouldn't understand. No, I don't believe that at all. This is a video game. You're not forced to play the video game 4 days early. That's ridiculous. Learn some self-control. Stop blaming the world for your problems. What's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? Stop it.
But I do get the complaint here because games are already getting more expensive. You know, they're not $60 like they used to be. They're now $70, and it was previously promised that, hey, you know what? We're going all digital pretty much with all of our games, which means we don't have to package them as much. We don't have to worry about creating discs. The games are going to be cheaper. That's not the case whatsoever. In fact, it's the polar opposite. Teams are getting bigger. Technology is getting more complicated. Then, of course, they have to worry about things like pirating. But, yeah, they have all these excuses that they've come up with to add on $10 extra on the standard edition, and you don't even get early access. However, there is a little bit of a catch to early access, as noted here. Because the first few days of a game can be the absolute worst days. I'll happily let others pay and play before me and suffer on my behalf. So yeah, essentially,
that's true. Actually,
probably going to be a large portion of this community that is unfortunately going to be paying to be QA tester, an unpaid QA tester.
Yeah, fuck them. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's up to them.
To really go in there and test out the servers. Essentially, it's going to be paving the way for those of you that get the standard edition of the game. Now, we have this comment right here. Let me know what side of the fence you're on, by the way. It says, I'm on the wait a few years until it's 90% trained, so a few more days doesn't really matter to me. So some people...
Yeah, there's plenty of people that are like that. Is like, they don't really have a lot of money to buy new games, so they're just waiting to buy a game for like $6 on sale. Absolutely. Tons of people do that.
700 people, to be exact, are willing to wait a few years to really get into Diablo 4. Probably when they release like an...
Probably. So like after they iron out all the bugs and the game kind of works.
A collector's edition or something like that with every single form of content in it. Which is actually kind of smart. Also have to consider that a lot of these people have a huge backlog. It says right here, yeah, this is really the best way to counteract this crap. Don't buy into it. See if they take the time to actually make the game work. See how predatory their monetization gets. It's Activision. It's probably going to be horrendous. Grab it at a discount later on if it passes the smell test. My backlog is honestly too massive at this point. Yeah, my backlog...
I think that's probably the healthiest outlook for it. And I think this person is right. If you don't want to... Like, the only way that you can really protest any sort of, like... any company doing something is by not spending their money. It's not spending money. Like World of Warcraft, people protested the BFA, like farm all day, every day changes, like that kind of stuff. People protested that in Legion. They fucking hated it. They hated it in BFA. And you know whenever Blizzard changed it? They changed it in Shadowlands whenever people moved over to Final Fantasy XIV and they stopped giving them money. So if you want to see the game change, if you want to see a real effect happen, stop giving them money. And if enough people do that, and if, like, for example, if everybody unsubbed, like in World of Warcraft, like let's do a fucking mental exercise, okay? So if in World of Warcraft, they announced a storm out, and then all of the players that were playing the game, 90% of them instantly unsubbed. They said, we don't want to subscribe to this game anymore. We already pay a box fee. We pay for expansions. We pay a sub fee. We're not going to pay for another mount. This is exorbitant and unfair. That storm mount would be out of the game that day. There would be an apology from maybe even Bobby Kotick himself saying, gamers, we hear you. We went over the line and we hurt your sense of achievement. We are so sorry. We will get rid of this storm mount. It's gone. We fucked up. Yeah, if gamers were able to unironically rise up, none of this stuff would happen. But the reality is that because gaming has gotten so big and so mainstream, the amount of people that's in the know for these issues is so small that game companies can rely on the masses to advertise this stuff to, and it doesn't matter to them. These are the people that hear about Diablo 4 on a TV commercial. Those are the ones that are going to be buying stuff like this because they can play it on Friday instead of Wednesday. And they work on Wednesday, and so they want to be able to play it over the weekend. It's that simple. So, and this is also why it didn't work with Magic the Gathering. You remember, like, Magic the Gathering, they had this problem. They lost a bunch of money because Magic the Gathering has a much smaller, more cohesive community. And because they have that smaller, more cohesive community, they were able to just push back on it, and the company went back and they apologized, and they got rid of it. There's no 30-fucking-year edition anymore. That's done. And then the guy that did that, one of the Hasbro executives, was out of the fucking company. So it works. It absolutely fucking works. But the problem is that people are not able to exercise discretion. They're not able to exercise any sort of willpower. They see item, they fucking, like, it's like a pug with their eyes popping out of their head. Listen, every gaming boycott is 1 3-minute cinematic away from being completely fucking over. That's just how it is. I have had to learn, I've had to learn this over the years, especially with World of Warcraft. And I think that the best and only way to protest this is to simply stop buying the products. That is the only way you can do it. Anything else, complaining on Reddit, complaining on YouTube, making video essays, sending in tickets, doing anything else, nothing will, it's like, it's nothing. It evaporates. That's it. It works. Yeah, it works. Like, that's it.
I've really honed in on one strategy when gaming anymore. It's just focusing on one game at a time. Even if something new comes out, I'm like, yo, I need to finish this first. Back up. Hold on. Yeah, we'll see.
Bro, where's the Hydra? Put down the Hydra. He's going to solo this whole thing for you.
What happens with Diablo 4 in the long term when it does come to monetization schemes and that sort of thing. Now, Blizzard has been very vocal about this game not being...
Oh, yeah, I don't think it's going to be directly pay to win or something like that. Somebody says not everyone is so awakened and thinks the same way as you. Stop thinking it's such an easy train of thought that everyone in the world has. People will be persuaded and buy it, and it's shameless and unethical tactic. That's all I'm saying. Blizz should be criticized for that. Should is a word that idealistic people that make no difference in the world use a lot. They use this word all the time. It should be this way. It shouldn't be like this. They shouldn't do this. They should do this. Should doesn't matter. I understand that, again, Reddit and comment sections are full of principled, ideological, like staunch ideological fucking hardline people. But the truth is that that's not the reality. And I think that you can live in a fantasy world and imagine that this is just what's going to happen, and oh, they shouldn't do this, and you're spending all your time getting mad. Like, what are you doing with your life? You're getting mad constantly about a video game. What's wrong with you? Or you can fucking either accept it or move on. But spending all your time getting mad about a fucking video game, charging too much money for anything is fucking insane, man. And the thing is, like, somebody says you. That's why I'm saying it. That's the whole fucking point. I spent my time doing this for years and years and years. And you know where it got me? Nowhere. Absolutely fucking nowhere. It did nothing. Don't make the same mistake I did. You're not going to change the world.
pay to win. We will be having a battle pass that has cosmetics only, but I want to see how far they go with certain elements of their structure with the battle pass even. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to dissect that when it comes time. But yeah, let's get into some questions to the dev team and official replies, shall we? So we have this one right here. Let me zoom it in first of all. It says, what did the devs, or at least the systems team, take away from the beta? Widely hearing barbs felt weak, the dungeons became very tedious, even only after
good question.
a few days. And we have a response here from Gorin of Blizzard, who goes on to say this right here. He says, take class balance right now with a grain of salt. You can expect balance to change significantly as you gain additional levels and more skill points. Items and systems paragon.
Oh, look at his fucking profile picture. Yeah, that's what you think. That's what you fucking think. Okay, yeah, I'll be curious to see what it's really like at endgame.
Become available. Beta was fun. I'm very much looking forward to making a druid for some reason. Yes, the druid's abilities begin to expand big time as you go beyond the beta zone, which is Fractured Peaks, and you head into their homeland, Scotchland.
Sure.
I cannot wait to see what the Druid's ultimate power will be once we finally tap.
I'm sure Druid is going to be way better than Whirlwind Barbarian, who can just stack up 500 different fucking 300% multipliers onto the same spell, do full damage while moving, and also just instantly be immune from CC entirely while stacking up Fortify completely every second. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen.
To that, because I think there's a lot of hidden secrets there, as are with many of the other classes, including the Barbarian here. Apparently we didn't even get close to tapping into all of his abilities. All right, so we have this one right here as well. What is the comparative size of the Diablo team versus the WoW team? The WoW team seems to make changes 3 to 4 times faster than Diablo can. Is that because of WoW editor or the single platform? Does Diablo have a comparative tool? Anything you can comment on without blowback? And we have a response here from Gorin, who says this. Hard to say, really. The WoW team is pretty big, but the Diablo team as a whole houses Diablo 2 Resurrection, Diablo 1, Diablo 3, and Diablo 4. Comparing WoW to Diablo 4, I'd say WoW is probably bigger, and you have to also consider that WoW
I mean, I would assume that, like, Classic WoW is probably bigger than, like, in terms of the people that play Classic WoW. I think Classic WoW is bigger than Diablo 3, Diablo 2 Resurrected, and like all of these put together. Like it probably won't be bigger than Diablo 4, or at least at the beginning. But like, yeah, Classic WoW is massive.
Very much.
So yeah, the WoW team's probably huge.
All the time. They have to watch over it. It's kind of Blizzard's baby as well. As is Diablo, don't get me wrong. But Diablo is definitely not more of a MMO experience. It's like a hybrid, so I don't think they need as many people on it for that reason. However, with that being said, I hope they are prepared to support this game in the long term, because that is something that they have promised, of course. So when it comes to big expansions, I don't want to hear that it's taking forever for them to release an expansion like, say, Cyberpunk 2077. And it's
I also don't want to have to wait forever on an expansion whenever the game is like dry or bland for such a long time. I think if you compare that with Path of Exile and how PoE continues to push out new content while they're developing PoE 2 simultaneously, I think that's what people should expect to see out of Diablo 4. I think that's what's fair, especially whenever this is like a continual live service game that they're selling battle passes and cosmetics for. I don't think you should expect them to just not develop new content. And if they aren't developing new content and you're not happy with the game, I think you should play something else.
Situation with Phantom Liberty, it has taken way too long for us to get an expansion for that game, at least in my opinion. All right, so we have another question here as well. It goes on to say this. Interesting. In the second part, is it possible to have all platforms draw from a master source that can push changes simultaneously?
I mean, PoE is on PS4, right?
Individual changes, or does different network architectures prevent it? Wow, what a great question, my God. And the response is as follows. Oh, sure, that's already a thing. It has been a thing since Diablo 3. However, pushing changes out simultaneously is easier said than done. Console hotfixes and patches have to go through an approval process through the manufacturer. PC has a lot less red update. Now, on the server
Boy,
side
I
of
love
things, they seem
console
to be
gaming.
pretty good at updating things, at least from the experience with the
Dude,
beta.
I think I'm gonna
Like,
play
they were
Barb
getting
on
stuff
release.
out, rolling out essentially simultaneously across the board very easily, but I'm curious to see how far this will go at the full release. If it's going to be like PC gets the patch, you know, hours ahead, a day ahead. We'll have to wait and see. We've seen that happen before with certain other games. More recently, I can think of Hogwarts Legacy had that issue where certain platforms were getting stuff out first. But yeah, it seems like they're really in tune to this and they want to make an effort to get it all out simultaneously. Furthermore, we have this one right here. Amy goes on to ask, careful with the 4000 series. Diablo 4 was breaking.
The 4000? I thought the only problem that was documented was the 3080. That's crazy. I never heard of this.
Them during the beta. So yeah, we heard a lot of stories and rumors how there were graphics cards, specifically the 3080s.
Yeah,
that
not
were
the 4000.
PCs when you were playing the Diablo 4 beta and was related to some sort of cinematic. Adam Fletcher goes on to say this. He says it wasn't. So from their experience internally, that was not the case. Let me know if any of you were running on the 40 series and had your graphics card bricked, because I have not heard too many stories about this. It's not like, oh,
it's kind of like this is a bridge builder dick sucker situation where in New World, people said that New World was bricking PCs, but the problem was on EVGA specifically, and it was the graphics cards that EVGA had that was causing problems. But now, if you ask people, does New World brick graphics cards, people will say yeah. But the truth is, this was a specific problem that actually didn't even have to do with the game. And I would hate to see Diablo 4 get treated the same way whenever something happens that, like, maybe it's their fault, maybe it's not. But I think you should contextualize it around just being one graphics card and not just make wild, sweeping generalizations about all graphics cards.
oh my God, an overwhelming amount of people have had their entire systems bricked. It takes a lot for that to happen. I think there has to be something already wrong with the PC for that to happen. Now we have this right here. Could you please create an option to turn off floating damage? I really dislike seeing the damage numbers on the screen.
I could be wrong about that, sorry.
The attack status rolls like dodge, dazed, fortified, vulnerable. Would be nice if you would.
Floating damage, really like seeing damage number, the attack status like rolls. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do it. And we have a response from Adam Fletcher, who goes on to confirm that please don't spam me, and you can. So that is actually an option that is available in the game.
Great.
Now, this question was for Rod Ferguson. It says, are there any plans for mouse and keyboard for Diablo 4 on consoles? Thanks in advance. By the way, even in beta, Diablo 4 rocks. And Rod Ferguson goes on to confirm the following right here. He says, nothing beyond what the consoles already support natively. So, there's your answer right there. Now we have Philip, who says, I really enjoyed the Heraldic Bestiary feature in Diablo Immortal. It adds to the story, lore, and adventure. Will Diablo 4 have some feature like this for us to discover the secret?
Heraldic Bestiary. You know what? I actually thought the Heraldic Bestiary, that was like the book. That's actually true. Yeah, I know everybody is going to like reflexively, oh, it's bad. It's bad because Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal did a number of good things. This was one of them.
Of all the demons and
beasts a lore book, yeah.
we slay along the way. Great question. And Rod Ferguson goes on to confirm, not at launch, but he's not outright saying no there.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I imagine that something like that would be coming down the road for the game. All right,
that's
now it's
cool.
time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. So what was my most recent video about? So yeah, check it out right here. It says, at level 70, everything changes. And veterans discover legendary feature.
Watch that at some point.
You know what? Let's go ahead and take a look and see what you guys had to say about this.
Okay,
so the first
let's
top
see.
comment comes from Thomas, who says this: auto loot is not a problem because loot drops for you only. Back in the
I wish that that wasn't the case, by the way. I wish that you could still get really good legendaries. Like, for example, I remember in Diablo 3, I got I dropped a Wand of Woe on I think it was like my Barbarian. And it was unironically the best Wand of Woe in the entire season league. It was like perfectly fucking rolled. And I made a fucking wizard. I was like, that's really cool. Holy shit, I got this item. I want to try a wizard and play with this. That would be really cool to have in Diablo 4. And I think that you should be able to occasionally drop legendaries of other classes.
Day of Diablo 2, when a legendary dropped, you had to race to it or lose it. It was quite a thrill. I always thought it would be kind of fun to have like pink slips or legendaries or something like that, like some sort of mode in these type of games where you would have to go through a dungeon and whoever got the highest score or whatever would have to give over their legendary that they would put up as like kind of like a gamble. I don't know. I thought
No, that would be so unfair to druids. That would be so bad for druids. How could they possibly do that? Yeah, that would never work, man.
that would be actually kind of a neat feature to have some sort of thrill behind
yeah,
going
look at
into
this.
a
I
dungeon
mean,
versus someone else. But
this guy doesn't have a
I get what you're
chance.
saying there. It's definitely not an issue, the auto loot.
He can't do
feature
it
at all. In fact, it's actually really good for those disconnects. So you know that, oh my god, yeah, although I disconnected, I go back to my stash and my legendary will be there. Next up, we have this one right here from DS. They say the auto loot feature is something that has to be there with the MMO-esque world Diablo 4 has. You can easily miss an item just running through the open world with friends or even randoms nearby and have gear drops. Since loot that drops is only seen by a single person, this just removes any need to backtrack places cleared by other people to check for important loot. Exactly. When doing solo content like a dungeon, I think you're going to see something like a legendary or unique drops most of the time. You won't have too many enemies dying off screen, even if
Maybe this is a bit black pill, but I don't think that you should be asking for auto loot. Because how do you think most other games do auto loot? There's a pet that loots for you. And it's not a free pet. I don't know. But I hear auto loot and I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know about that one.
you do, you're more likely to hear it all alone or even spot it on the map. So yeah, a lot of people are using this tactic for co-op and mid-maxing dungeons. You go to the left, I go to the right.
Oh yeah.
And if a legendary does drop out of my sight, it doesn't matter. We're going to min-max
I thought legendaries got mailed to you.
this and be as fast and as effective as possible going through dungeons. That's going to be the new tactic. But I'm kind of curious to see what Blizzard might say
That's good.
about a situation when people have a stash that's full. It's like 10 out of 10 legendaries are already in their mailbox. And what happens then? I'm kind of curious if the legendary is actually lost or if it's kind of reserved on the server side. I don't know what happens there. But
If it's like the WoW mail, what happens is that you can only see 10, but you have to open one of them, and then after you open that one, you have to close the mailbox and open it back up, and then the 10th one will be there. Yeah, it's like cached, kind of. It goes to your stash. Yeah, if it goes to your mail, that's the way that WoW works with like mailing stuff. Is it like if your mailbox is full, you can still receive mail, but you have to clear your mailbox in order to look at the older mail.
I'm assuming that there is a risk there if you do allow the mailbox or, you know, at your stash to fill up with 10 out of 10 legendaries and you get that, you know, 11th legendary, you might lose it, I'm assuming.
I doubt that.
So that's my question
I
for
doubt it.
Blizzard
I don't
right
think
now.
so.
There it is. Thank you all so much for the love and support on the videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this one right here. I'm going to try to keep going with the daily Diablo 4 content for you all because I know it's rough. It's been a rough weekend. We don't have the beta.
I know, it's
one
so
thing
sad.
that feels like it's missing in my life. But yeah, I cannot wait for June for the launch of this game. I'm excited for it despite some of the issues that the game does have, of course. Yeah, overall, very hyped over here for this one. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.
I saw something interesting in chat. Oh, it's Elon Musk. Give me 1 second. I saw something very interesting.
So we've got to mix up both.
Someone said, oh no. You know how stash tabs cost 100k, 200k gold, etc. Guaranteed you can purchase tabs as an option in Diablo 4 store, just like PoE. Would you like to make a bet? Pussy if he doesn't. Sure thing. All right. How about 6 months after launch? 6 months after launch, if this is not purchasable, if storage is not purchasable in the store, I will ban you in my chat and every chat that I have modded. But if it is, I will give you VIP in both of my channels. Permanent VIP? Yes, permanent VIP. Forever. Banning every Twitch chat is kind of harsh. I know. I mean, I'll do that if I take the bet. So it's one-sided. Okay, what do you want? I don't think I can give you money. Like, I actually think it's, like, against TOS for me to do that. Like, I can't literally bet with viewers. I am not going to give him a $4,000 Starforge PC. That is insane. Are you fucking kidding me? Just for an that's like so okay, he either gets banned in a Twitch chat or he gets a $4,000 PC. This is completely disproportionate. You were going to permaban him from everyone though? I mean, just make another account. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. All right. How about this? I would buy him every single cosmetic in the Diablo 4 store. Yes, in Diablo 4. Man, bro, like, this Diablo team, like, they better not sell me out. Bro, if they sell me out, bro, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it, man. Yep, I'll bet, because I'll win, because storage will be big in the store. All right, all right. So, that means that the game comes out in June. It comes out June 6th, but pre-order access is June 2nd. I think it's fair. We're going to go ahead and say if there is no storage in the store, no storage in the store, December 6th, 2023, you are done. How does that sound? That's 5 months? No, that would be 6. Because 6 plus 6 is 12, not 13. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. All right. Well, I mean, like, I set it up. I mean, I sure hope that this guy is right, man. I sure hope he's right. And, man, if Blizzard sells me out on this shit, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I'm basically paying them to fuck me. All right. Oh, we got some fun. Oh, we got some fun. Here we go. And just so you understand completely, I'm going to make it more in your favor. If there is any way to advance or increase the amount of storage that your character gets from paying real money in any way, so if you buy the battle pass and it unlocks them, if you buy the game and it unlocks them, or you buy like a deluxe edition of the game, if there is any way that any form of money will increase your stash, you win.